Aloha and welcome to another episode of the Hawaii Vacation Connection. I'm Bruce Fisher. Aloha, Bruce. Thanks for tuning in. We got a great podcast for you for this July 11th, 2021. So glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about what's going on here in Hawaii. And I know a lot of you are hearing about how we are overrun with tourism, right? And so what I'm going to talk about today, some of the things that you can do if you have trips planned here in like the next couple of months. And of course, I'll be preaching about what you should be doing in the future, like I always do. And we'll also talk about why this is actually happening and some of the thoughts I have about the situation here on the ground zero here as we talk about Hawaii vacations. Of course, this podcast is brought to you by us. We're the owners of Hawaii Aloha Travel. We're in Hawaii, Hawaii's experts, and you can catch us on the web at hawaii-aloha.com, or you can just give us a call at 1-800-843-8771. We have agents standing by right now, ready to help you plan your next Hawaii vacation. Don't forget to check out our sister site, Secret Hawaii Tours. If you want a specialty tour, you want to do that special tour that probably you will not find anywhere else. We have tours here on Oahu and on Kauai, and that is Secret Hawaii Tours. Please check us out. Okay, if you haven't heard, a couple of quick things. First of all, if you have a vaccine and you have your vaccine card, you can come to Hawaii and you can avoid the need to take a COVID-19 test and test negative before you come here, 72 hours before you travel. But the thing about that is if you're 5 and over, you still need to get tested. So this is a problem for people that have kids that are between 5 and 17, I guess, or if they haven't been vaccinated. You're still going to need to get that negative COVID-19 test. Of course, it is a hassle, I know. The program itself will be eased because a lot of people are coming here that now have the vaccine. You can just upload that vaccine card if you've got that. And you just go to hawaii.travel.com and you'll be able to see all the information there. Or you can just email me. I can give you the information. Just give us a call if you're one of our clients. Of course, we always help you out with this. If you're one of our clients, we make the whole thing really easy because we got all your bases covered. So that's the quick news about that. The other thing is that the restaurants now here on Oahu are at 100%, which is great news because one of the problems that we're seeing is that people can't get reservations even to eat here because we are so overwhelmed with tourism. Now, I'm not saying, I'm just giving you the facts. I'm not saying this to kind of be a Debbie Downer, but I want people to have the information, especially if you're coming here soon. And there are a few things that you can do if you are scheduled to come here in the next, let's say, week or two, or even the next couple of months as you prepare for your Hawaii vacation. If you haven't booked anything, you should be calling me and our team here because we can help you with all the steps. So let's talk about some of the things you can do if you've got some reservations and some of the things that we make sure our clients are doing or get done before they come here. The first thing that I'm going to suggest to you is if you're booking activities, do not book with third parties. Don't book with Expedia or Viator or any of the TripAdvisor. Don't book with any of them. The reason for that is it adds an extra layer of things that can go wrong because you're not booking directly with the company. You're basically responding to an advertisement on the internet. A lot of people book through TripAdvisor because they don't even realize that it's very easy to see the website that is providing the activity. For example, we own Secret Hawaii Tours, but we're on TripAdvisor, and a lot of people don't even ever see that they can book directly with us. And the reason I say this is because with an extra layer of another person involved, a third party involved, a lot more can go wrong with activities. Now, I don't think that's the case when you're booking everything else. I think when it comes to booking your air and your hotels, I think the exact opposite. Obviously, I'm a travel advisor, but I can tell you that being on the ground, the bookings that we are involved in that have any problems get resolved, and they get resolved immediately. I just got off the phone resolving a problem for a client because reservations were booked and booked and booked and booked because a lot of people had to rebook their reservations over and over and over again, right? Because of the pandemic. And all of their reservations got canceled, even the reservations that we booked. But because we were on it and because we are keeping close eyes on it, the customer doesn't have to worry. And you got to remember that we're going to take responsibilities. But the thing is that if you book activities and we book it through a third party, it's very difficult for us to take responsibilities for what other people are doing with these activities. The biggest problem we're facing right now is folks just waiting and not having reservations for activities because there's just nothing left. There's no room left at the end. So that's number one. Another thing is make your reservations in advance, obviously. Make sure that you have correct confirmation numbers and make sure that you have the telephone numbers of the hotels and the rental car companies that you're renting from. It sounds simple, right? But people just automatically today, when they're booking online, or even when they're booking with us, just assume everything is getting taken care of. Of course, if you book with us, everything is getting taken care of. But when you are booking with these with any OTA and you're so used to doing this, right? It's something that you just do automatically as you make these reservations yourself. And it's just a different time right now, especially for Hawaii. Remember, Hawaii now is I think in the top 3 highest demand destinations in the world right now. And it's taxing on our economy and our tourism in the tourism industry. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. But and then the other thing is, if you're booking Airbnbs and these rentals that are mostly illegal, by the way, you don't realize they're illegal, but they are. Make sure that you try to rent from a legal rental in Hawaii rather than illegal rentals. That's very important because if prices are going to go up and some of these owners are very greedy, they'll cancel your reservation to get a higher price somewhere else. So be very careful about that. Also, get names whoever you're dealing with, make sure that you get their name. I am surprised at how many of my own customers don't even remember my name. I'm booking all of their stuff. They're spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and they don't even remember who I am. And they'll sometimes, I can email you guys 1,000,000 times, and they still don't even have my telephone number or my email address. So, keep in mind that you really need to know who you're dealing with and to make sure that you know who you're dealing with, because if you don't, it could be a real problem. I can't tell you how many times this has happened, and I'm just shocked that people don't remember who I am or who they're booking with. And the final thing is just be nice, please. Just be nice. Just turn on the niceness and be nice no matter what is happening, especially in a negative situation when you come to Hawaii. These are some of the ideas. These are just a few ideas for you, like 6 or 7 things for you to think about if you're coming to Hawaii now. And I know a lot of you are finding me, you haven't booked through me, which is okay. I understand. You're digging deep and you finally found me here. But if you haven't, these are some ideas, some things that you can think about and some things that you need to do. And the other thing is, the other thing I wanted to mention is I really think now is the time to be thinking about doing more tours rather than going out on your own. I know this is unusual for me to be saying this because I'm all about exploring the island on your own. But because we have so many tourists here now, I think it makes a lot of sense to be going with a tour company. Either our tour companies or any of the smaller companies, if they have openings or reservations, or even a bus tour now at this point, I am saying this is probably a good idea because they're going to at least have access. You're not going to be stuck in traffic. You're not going to be worrying about parking on the side of the road where you might get a ticket or towed. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention as you're thinking about coming here and booking your Hawaii vacation. Now, if you've got plenty of time on your hands and you're booking, let's say, out towards the end of the year, the beginning of next year, I think you're going to be fine. I don't think we're going to have the kind of overwhelming amount of tourism that we have now because other destinations will be open by then. So I don't think it's going to be a problem. I am talking about in the short term, what's happening here and ways that you might be able to deal with it. And the other big question I'm getting is like, why is this happening? How come we are in the situation we're in. And the main reason is demand. It's good old supply and demand. And like I was saying earlier, there aren't a lot of destinations open, so people are coming here. The other reason is it's a lot easier to come here now. You don't need to have a negative COVID-19 test if you have the vaccine. So what this means is it's put a tremendous amount of strain on the resources that we have here. That means the hotels, the rental cars, the activities, and then you add into it the frustration of the people that actually live here. And Civil Beat just did a story about this, and they were talking about, and if you haven't subscribed to Civil Beat, that's a great resource for local information and what's really happening on the ground. They do a lot of investigative reporting, and they do a lot of in-depth reporting. And what this article was talking about is like, how many tourists are too many? And they were talking about Maui County in particular. And in the article, it talked about how there's 157,000 people that live on Maui. And more than 52,000 visitors are there at a time. So that's one tourist for every 3 residents. So that, when you think about that number, that is a lot. And the average number of visitors was equivalent to 43% of Maui's population, or about 67,500 people. And they've done some studies about this, and it does seem like it's a bit much. It's a lot. I mean, people even before the pandemic were talking about how tourism, Maui especially, I think is probably in the toughest situation with this. Because with that many visitors, you have a tremendous amount of strain on the population. So what are they doing? It looks like lawmakers are going to try and do something about it. First of all, they're going to start a moratorium on West Maui. So no building for 2 years. That's going to include Lahaina and Kihei. They're also talking about visitor parking fees at beaches. So in other words, limiting the amount of people that can go to these beaches and charging fees for it. They also have defunded already, and this is just across the board, the legislators have defunded the Hawaii tourism industry. They used to get $79 million a year. Now they're only getting $60 million a year. And I think the reason they kind of are going for this defunding is because they want to reallocate some of this money. And I think they're more interested in regenerative tourism. And I think that HTA is on board with that, actually. I think they're pretty much on the same page, which is a good thing. But I have to say, a lot of this is now reacting to the problem. And a lot of this could have been solved early on. In fact, I've been talking about some of these things since we opened back in October, even before that, talking about how we really needed to learn our lessons from this and rethink a lot of the way we were doing things. So now they're just reacting to these situations. And one of the things I had been saying was a lot of this regulation. I said, let's charge, fees to get in and out of places. Let's limit you have to make reservations, and there has to be more mindfulness with regard to the amount of tourism coming in here. And Euro, and there were several other studies, and we were all talking about it, but nothing got done. And now we're getting bombarded with all the tourism. And of course, now they're reacting. So one of the things that they just were doing is they're talking about this shuttle. They're talking about, we now have a shuttle bus that'll take people from the airport to the hotels. We already had shuttles that are going to the airport, from the airport to the hotels. I don't understand why they are making that, this is a great thing. What I said they should be doing is they should be starting to run buses. Get Polyad or some of these Roberts, and they should be running new bus routes to get from Kaanapali to Kihei and up and down that whole area, all along. Everywhere on Maui, just make a bus route. I mean, it's the simplest thing in the world to do, and yet they're making a big, they're doing some kind of breakthrough thing, creating a shuttle that will go from the airport to the hotels. I mean, so this is their big idea. And the other thing you got to remember, and this goes to why we're having such a problem, is there's a labor shortage just like everywhere else. There's also this rental car shortage, which is kind of messing things up. And there's, at the same time, lots of traffic jams because there's so many people on the road. So I think that, and then add into that the illegal vacation rentals and some of the other things, and this is why we are where we are. And it's kind of an interesting time because in all my years doing this is my 22nd year of doing this, and I have never in my life. This is all new territory for me. Every day I'm finding new issues that come up, and it's really challenging. But at the same time, I'm encouraged because I know that this will all get better, and you'll be able to come here very soon. If you haven't booked your vacation now, or you're coming here now, just be prepared for some of these things. And let's get on the phone, or let's start talking, you and me, about this advanced booking for next year. Because I'm thinking that it's looking really, really great. And now's the time to be thinking about those kinds of vacations. We might have some availability in November, a little bit in October, but these are the kind of bookings that I'm feeling really good about, are the ones pulling in for next year. So hopefully this information is helping you out. And, we'll continue to keep talking about this stuff because, Hawaii is the most beautiful place you can come to for a vacation. There isn't a better place in the world to visit. We are in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We are surrounded by the most natural, most beautiful scenery and vistas that you can imagine. And it's a magical place. And we have something called Aloha Spirit. But we want to keep that Aloha Spirit. And that's why we want to make sure that you guys have the right information and are not coming here on a whim. People are calling me telling me that they're just going to wait till they get here and get a hotel. I mean, this is what's going on. So don't be one of those people. All right? Please help us out here. All right. That's going to do it. That's going to wrap it up. Don't forget to check out our website, hawaii-aloha.com. Check out our previous episodes of this podcast. Get over to our blog. Also, check out our tours, Secret Hawaii Tours. Hopefully, we can find a slot for you. We do have some openings for through July. We're sold out, but into August, there's some openings. And also on Oahu, we have some openings. Don't forget our Aloha Plate Food Tour, our Hawaii 5-0 Tour. And don't forget our condos that give special deals to you guys. That's on the island of Oahu. We have the Luana Waikiki. The rates are only $129 a night. And that includes tax and no resort fee. So ask me about that. All right, that'll do it. That'll wrap it up. For my beautiful wife, Yaling, and all of us here at Hawaii Aloha Travel, I'll say aloha and mahalo.